What's up, y'all? How y'all feeling? What's good? It's Don Vito. We back again. You there? We got another exciting guest coming on. She goes by the name of Ayanna Bean. You know what I'm saying? Ayanna Bean is, another A-list interview, guest, vibing session. You know? And before I start the show, I just want to say this. My show's all about vibing. You know, it's an interview feel, but it's all about vibing. You know, I don't want to, be questioning people or everything about their life. I just want to vibe with people and see what's going on with people and let them just, talk about it. And whatever they feel comfortable about talking about is what we talk about. I'm not doing, the step by step, where you come from, where you been at. I'm not doing all that. I'm just vibing with them, and we just gonna feel free and feel comfortable and just let it all hang out. That's all it is. So it's all about vibing. That's why my show is called Vibing with Don Vito, a one-on-one vibing session with people out there in the community, in the world that, got something going on. That's what it's all about, That's how we doing it. That's for all the critics and all that, who just, trying to figure out what's going on with me. Yeah, they know what I do. They know my work, but right now, this is something that I'm doing that's different. It's original. It's one-on-one. And it's, where I can get into people and they can bring out more stuff that they wouldn't do on, a panel or with a bunch of people around them where it's, it's a situation where it might make them feel uncomfortable or challenged or something like that. So that's why I call it vibing, because when people start vibing, they just start to come out with more stuff and they just feel comfortable. And this was all about, especially with this COVID-19 situation, everybody's kind of tight and kind of tense. Because I just came from outside. It's nice as hell outside. So if you ever been outside, I suggest you come outside, take a little walk, throw your mask on, get your gloves, keep your social distance, do all that. And just enjoy the day, because at the end of the world, at the end of the day, it's still a nice, warm day where you see people out there and they just trying to get that feel back for what's going on, in society. And they say it's a new norm, but it don't have to be a new norm when you got the Lord in your life. You know what I'm saying? You pray and you have hope and stuff like that. The new norm is going to be not what the politicians say it is. The new norm is going to be what God says it is. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Ayanna Bean? I see you, girl, but you got to request me, though. There you go. Ayanna Bean's about to come on, because it's not about me, it's about her. So stay tuned, everybody. She about to come on. It's going to be another amazing vibing session. Another friend of mine. Ayanna, what's up, girl? How you? What's good? Hey.
What's going on, Don Vito?
I'm chilling, I'm chilling. I'm just breaking this new show in. Everybody used to seeing me with a few people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
okay.
It's just something that God put it on my mind and said, you got to do this.
Well, that's right. That's what you should do then. Can you hear me good?
I hear you great, and you look great.
Oh, well, thank you. You should have seen me 10 minutes ago.
You had to clean it up, huh?
I had to fix it up.
Yeah, you put the Gucci on and all that. Huh?
The quarantine.
The lip gloss is popping. Got some jewels on like your boy.
I had to do it Boston style. You know.
Yeah, they said, well, we got jewelry on. We in the crib. You know why? Because we still shining.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly. We still got that that face.
That's right. I see Big 50 pulling up in there.
Big 50.
Hey,
What's
50.
up, Big 50? Well, I got to holler at Big 50, right?
Yeah, you got to holler at her. What's up, Jakia?
Yeah, she want to come on next. I'm gonna do some. I'm gonna check her out.
Yeah, check her out.
I'm gonna honor that. I'm definitely
What's
gonna
up,
do that.
I see Daphne, my people on here. Hello, Boston. What's good?
Get your hellos and do what you do. You got a lot of love out there, huh?
Yeah, that feels good. That feels good. It does.
Yeah, yeah, but
I ain't been outside in a while.
you ain't by yourself. I go out for a few minutes and I come
Yeah.
back in.
Good. Good.
You
It's
know?
good to get some air. It's a nice day today too.
Yeah, sometimes you get that cabin fever too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
happening.
man.
It's
So
happening.
I come up with the new show, Vibing with Don Vito,
Mm-hmm.
and I just started dancing. So who I'm gonna get on my show? How am I gonna make my show different for what people know me for doing? Even though I
Right.
still do that,
Okay. Yeah, you do.
of
You
course.
do. Yeah.
50% is my company,
That's right.
but at the end of the day, I could do more. So I said, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Let me just create my own little vision. Let me run with it. So I want to introduce you to everybody. So we got
Okay.
this young lady right here. Her name is Ayanna Bean, right? I met her because she was on BET, Trap Queens, American Gangster,
Right.
and she don't
Yep.
look like that, but she got a little story to tell, you know what I'm saying? And she also got a little message to give.
That's right.
Exactly at the end of the day. So
Yes.
welcome to my show. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me. It's good to see you again. And I
Yes.
also wanted to thank you and the Beat 139 for having me on there. Shout
Mm-hmm.
out to my buddy there, Miss T, Queen T, as I call her,
Yes.
who plugged us. So I'm
Yes.
just grateful to have good friends that, plug me into other things and that we look out for each other. So I appreciate to have met you through that route. I appreciate it.
Exactly. So Ayanna, if y'all don't know about it, she's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
She's an advocate speaker, and she's an activist. So let's talk about that real quick.
All right. Well, as you explained, I was on. I was fortunate to be on a show called by BET, American Gangster Trap Queens.
Mm-hmm.
My story about a little bit about my life going on in there. I did federal prison time. I've done state prison time for what's called. And I'll tell you what's so funny about this. Last time you asked me what my charges were, and I've been on a lot of shows.
Yeah, you froze up a little bit on me. I broke
were.
you in. I broke you in.
You broke me in, so I'm ready for you today. I'm ready for you today, so I'm happy about this.
Yeah.
I've been writing my book. One of the things is that I've been writing a book, and I don't know, a lot of people may, or, some people take in, their cases differently. When I was arrested and when I was charged, it's like, I don't hear anything they were saying. I didn't know. So I really don't know what my exact charges were at the time. I just wanted I wanted to admit what crime I committed, and I wanted this to be over. Mm-hmm. So there was no fighting, nothing of this. This paper trail, let's get it going. Boom. Let me do my time, right? Mm-hmm. So I could not ever say to anyone what the exact charges were. So now that I've been writing my book, and doing research on myself, I know my exact charges for my federal crime.
Time out. Let me get this right. Hold up.
Yeah.
So you did the time and still didn't know what the charges was all the time?
No, I didn't know what the exact charge was. I really didn't.
So what is the exact charge?
The exact charge is called, financial program theft. That was my federal charge.
That sounds like a lot of money.
It sounds like it, somebody might think that, but that was the charge. And before today, I've never been able to say exactly what that charge was to anyone. I've had 2 cases. My first, you see 50 said I'm the nice gangster.
Yeah. yeah.
That's my buddy.
There.
That's my buddy.
You walk out the spot with $100 million.
Nobody can know. That's right.
Oh,
so I'm happy to say that, and that today I know what that exact charge was, but it also kind of makes me feel kind of silly. Like, I've been watching the show For Life, and I see how, like the guys in there fighting, people are fighting for themselves and learning about their cases and all these things. And look at me, I don't even know what my charge was, So I feel kind of silly in the fact that I didn't really know what was going on with myself. I didn't feel there was anything to fight for. I admitted to what I did. I know what I was doing. I'm not trying to play this game here. So, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. But today I can tell you, okay. that my charge was federal program theft, and that was what my federal charge was. So if anyone has the pleasure of watching the BET Plus app, American Gangster Trap Queens, I am in season 1, and I'm episode number 7. And what I did was I was a financial aid advisor. You know, I had learned finance through, you know, my whole high school career. I worked customer service, helping families to obtain financial aid and grants for their children to go to school. And so I learned that game. I learned that business, and then I went on to working at a school directly. When I worked at that school, I was in charge of handling the funds coming in for students to pay off their student loans, and also, you know, from the banks to give funding for them to go to school. So there's a couple of different financial aspects of it, but my piece was to receive these checks and to deposit them. And I did do that job for a little while. I was pretty well at my job that I did. But, you know, hard times in my family, and me being a person that kind of, I would say, had her back pressed up against the wall, I used those funds for personal use. And eventually I was caught doing that. And I went to jail for that. Yeah.
Wow. So how was it in jail?
Well,
I'm sorry to ask, but
yeah,
you know, we're trying to teach people that jail is not the place to be. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I'm all for, this is what it's all about. You know, people have asked me, well, why would you put your business out there on a show? I didn't go looking for the show. You know, the show called and I had to think about it. It wasn't like the show called and I'm like, yes, I'm going to do this because I want to be some famous person. No, Ayanna Bean wanted to be famous for something business-wise, or like a music industry mogul like a Mona Scott, or, you know, like a Yandy Smith or something. I mean, a show called me and I got to be on there being a criminal. You know? That's not the life that I wanted, you know. But as I say, if those are the choices that I made, and if God uses me as a vessel for that point, then that's the point that I'm going to take. That's the road I'm going to take. So my whole point of doing the show, my whole point of doing the show was because there's another young lady out there, or a young man, that's just like me. I'm your average person, working a job, trying to get ahead, trying to make ends meet, climbing the corporate ladder, and we don't go without struggle. You know what I mean? I had a great long title of a job name, but those ends wasn't always meeting all the time.
I understand what you're saying.
You know what I mean? And not to say that I was greedy and that there's any excuse for what I did, because I could have did something else, you know? I could have got another second job, or another, you know, I could have learned X, Y, Z of business or something like that. But when you're in the mix of things, you don't really get to think so hard, you know, about, well, what can I do? Because you're looking for right now.
Right.
How can this be fixed right now?
Yeah.
I don't got time to, I didn't have time to, not to say I didn't have time, I didn't take the time to try to figure out a long road of, this is what I can do to make this situation better in the long run. I wanted quick, fast, right now. What can I do right now? And that landed me in prison.
So your information was, I guess they Googled you or something like that. How did they find you?
Oh, well, one of the producers on the show actually is from Boston, and her name is Nan, Tashani James, and you'll see her on the credits there. She actually, we know each other. You know, our families know each other. You know, we know our family very well. And she was aware of my story. So while they were working on the American Gangster Trap Queens show, putting together different names, there was another young lady whose story was similar to mine that they were already doing. And then for some reason or another, she no longer could move forward with filming it. And so Tashani gave me a call and was like, hey, listen, you know, working on this show, I know that you're a private person and all that, but, you know, I think it'll be a good opportunity for you to be able to, you know, she wanted herself to work on a story that she really knew, that she could feel, and she knew the facts of it. So, you know, I talked about it with my sons, and, you know, it was like, I'm going to do it. You know, it wasn't that I was advertising it. You know, we're not advertising out here. You know, there's nothing great about being a felon. You know,
Right.
You know how that is.
So, what's the description of a trap queen?
Well, you know, their description and my description is totally different.
Okay, what is it? 'Cause I never asked you that.
Well, I'll tell you what my definition is of a trap queen.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
My definition of a trap queen is when you are a person who is trapped in a box and you know how to get your way out.
Right.
That's a trap queen.
Okay.
To me. You can't box me in. You can't when you're official, you can't be boxed in. You're always gonna find a way out when you're official. You know, when you give up, you're gonna stay in a box. I'm never gonna stay in nobody's box. No kind of box. You know what I mean? And I suggest that I really suggest that people, especially right now we're dealing with this pandemic.
Right.
You can't if you are just one person that's boxed into one way, you're not gonna survive this.
Yes.
You gotta understand
I
that
agree.
this is boxing you in right now.
Yes, yes, yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have to get on that with you because a lot of people know what I do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Where did I go?
I don't know.
Oh, wow. Where did I go?
You went away.
Man, I went away. I went away fast, too. Oh, there I go. Hey.
There you is.
I'm back.
Hey.
I don't know what happened. Technical difficulties, right? But a lot of people know what I do. You know, I got like a lot. I want to brag, but I got a lot of talents. Real quick.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm a trainer. I got a marketing company.
Yeah.
You know, I got a fitness online fitness training thing that I'm launching next week.
Okay.
They're saying, "Dan, why are you just doing that? You know, with the upper show. Why you not doing this X, Y, and Z? You limiting yourself."
Right.
And I've been hearing this for a while. This has been going on for a while, but I've been like focused on, you know, other things, you know, building, and it's what I do.
Right.
Real quick, when this COVID-19 quarantine thing came, my mind opened up all them thoughts. It's like, yo, the time is now. You start attacking the situation. So I can't be boxing anyway. That's how, you know, that's why you're on the new show right now.
Right.
You know? So let me ask you a question. So while you was in jail, what did you do while you was in there?
Well, let's see. So I've done 2 bids. The first
you did
time
2 bids.
I did 2 bids. Yeah.
So how much total time did you do?
A year and a half total time, I would say.
For both bids?
Yeah. Can you believe? I was lucky. I was a lucky person. I'm telling you. I don't have. It's like when I'm talking to other people, and you know, it's like, oh, they got too much time or this and that. Again, like I'm the girl who I didn't even know what my charges was really. You know, I wasn't trying to fight nothing. I didn't, you know, just what is it? Let's do it. You know. So my first time, in my head was like, oh, I'm out of here. I'm not gonna be home for a long time because you know. What they have to first do is start putting fear into you, right?
Right, yes.
That's what they do. You know, you see it on all the crime shows. The fear is what they need to keep you where they want to have you. So they would tell me 5 years, state prison, going up to, in Boston, we have the women's state prison is Framingham. So that's like a Rikers Island for men. And I'm like, oh, I can't do that. 5 years, I'm not going to no Framingham for no 5 years. That's crazy, you know? Right. But you know, again, you know, I had a court-appointed attorney. Of course, what happens is when you're in a financial crime, first thing that they do is freeze everything that you have. So you have to, you don't have anything. You can't get a paid lawyer. You know, so I was thinking I was looking at 5 years in time, you know, the first time. But what ended up happening is I got my sentence was 6 months in prison and then 3 years probation. So I don't have a problem with what that sentence was. That was, you know, it was a clear cut tap on the hand actually. So I did actually, out of that 6 months, I did 3 months in prison time in South Bay in Boston. That's called here, Suffolk County House of Correction. So I did 3 months there, and it seemed like to me, it seemed like 100 years. To say that to anyone else that's done like a double-digit number or, you know, more years of that, you're like, well, 3 months, girl, get out of here with that foolishness. But look, I'm talking about a person who never been arrested before, never went to jail. This is 3 months, you know, 3 months of your life. Again, this is 3 months that you're not going to get back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got sons out here. You know, I have a family out here. This is 3 months that, you know, I have young black males. This is 3 months that my kids could be in jail. My kids could be, may never see them again or something like that. So, okay, and then you'll say, well, then why'd you do the crime? Well, you know, I did it. And when you're doing something trying to make a way, you're not thinking of what's not going to go right. You're thinking of, I got this. This is how it's going to work.
Right.
Who's thinking of this ain't going to go right? Nobody.
Nobody.
That's why you're doing it, because you think you got the formula, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, you know, so that's what I thought about. And I went to South Bay. I did 3 months in there, and it was horrible. It's nasty in there. This is not, you know, this is not a place where I belong. You know what I mean? And a lot of women don't belong there. A lot of men don't belong in these places. But again, it's not a camp. You know, I'm not going here because I'm being rewarded. I'm going here because I'm supposed to be punished for something that I did that was wrong. So I deserve to be in prison for the crime that I committed. I will tell you that. I sent myself there. It's nobody else's fault but mine. So I got to go here, do this time, do what I need to do, and make it home safe, and pray every day that when I go home that there is a home and that my sons are safe and intact. So that was the first time. So I got away with 3 months at South Bay. And then 10 years later, so this my case are 10 years apart.
Oh, 10 years later.
Yeah, so 10 years later.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Yeah. So 10 years after that, I now again working at another school. And it was similar to the one previously, but the position that I had as a financial aid advisor, I actually wouldn't have had access to funds. But the way that the school did things, they did it backwards. So again, I found a way to get some money from them, and that's what I did. And that's what I did, and that was crazy. I did. And for that, I went to federal prison, and that is what my federal charge is, federal program theft. And I was sentenced to a year and a day in federal prison. I went to, oh gosh, what part of Kentucky was that? I was in Kentucky at Atwood Prison Camp, Lexington, Kentucky. Lexington, Kentucky. So I went there January of 2014, and I was home by November of 2014.
Okay. So, yeah. So was it rough in there? How was it?
You know, I can tell you there's a big difference between the state time and the camp time.
They did say the feds a little bit smoother than the state. No?
I don't know. Well, you know what? It may be. It may be according to the freedom that you have to move around. Like, I was in prison camp, so I wasn't, you know, in a PSC or anything like that. So I wasn't behind a wall necessarily. But I was in Lexington, Kentucky, and my family's in Boston, Massachusetts.
So you ain't getting no visits?
No visits. I didn't have visits even when I was at South Bay, not because my family wouldn't come, because I didn't allow them to come and visit me, because I didn't want them to see me in that position. You know, I didn't like to have them go through that whole coming up here, getting stuff, you know, that I don't want that for my family, and I don't want my kids to see it. So I straight lied to my kids on my first visit and told them I was at like a women's conference for 3 months. That was so silly, but like, your mother's in jail.
How old were they at the time?
At the time, they were in, I'd say the 6th and 8th grade.
Yeah, they can go for that.
They could go for that then. But, you know, they was in the mix.
The second bit, they ain't going for that.
No, I was on a trip. How I found out that I was in trouble, I was on a trip in the Caribbean. I was in the Bahamas. And my youngest son called me like, yo, Mom, a federal agent just left here looking for you. And I'm like, oh, what? I'm like, whoa, this is not I'm like, okay, son, you know, I'll be home in the next 2 days. I'll explain to you when I get there. Just don't answer the door. Don't talk to anyone. You know, he was like, Mom, what is this? This was his last year of high school. So, I went on a trip. He on point now. He was on point. Yeah. I mean, he didn't know what was going on, what I was doing. I didn't let them know what I was doing. But, you know, when it came down, he know what was going on. And I told him exactly what I had been doing. So, and it was in the newspaper. It was crazy.
What did he say?
You know, I wish he was on here, but he didn't actually say too much when it happened. It was more so, he'll keep things in his own head, really. So he didn't really say too much out loud to me, but I know he was scared.
Mm-hmm.
He was scared. Like, his dad at this point wasn't around as much,
Mm-hmm.
dealing with his own thing. And, he was going off to college, living on campus in Boston, though. And when I came back from my trip, that next week, he was leaving to go to campus. So it's like, wow, I'm out here in the Bahamas. They done froze up my bank account. Now I gotta figure this out. So I made it home. It was okay. You know what? Well, actually, I'll say one of my bank accounts they frozen. Another one that they hadn't frozen. So I made it. I came back home, and then it was, we was figuring it out. So you like make sure that no matter what happens, that I'm gonna make sure my son moves into that dorm room. So I packed him up, moved him on into his dorm room. I had bought him a little Acura Integra while he was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to sell that so that he could get books. You know
Wow.
what I mean? And
So
have a little change.
He a little dude with an Acura.
Yeah, he was a little guy with an Acura. It wasn't brand new. It was a
That's
little.
all right. It don't matter. It don't matter. I had a car when I was in high school, right?
Yeah, it was more than I had in high school.
And let me tell you something. Everybody else was riding the train, and I had a car.
Right.
So
right.
You got a car, you that dude. I don't care if it's new or old.
I'm telling you, he was the little guy,
Yeah.
Had his own whip. So,
yeah.
I mean, it was just a tough time for us. I really hate that. The biggest thing that I regret is putting my son through that. Like, granted, they had already been through enough. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They had already been through enough with us, and that wasn't right of me to do. So my apology will always be at first to what I put my sons through.
Yes.
Because they didn't have to, go through that. And then I'm out here, my whole thing is about my family and making sure that my sons is, not out here hustling in the streets or anything like that. But now look at how much of an odds I stacked against them. Like,
right.
I stacked against their mother being taken away, their father's out here doing what he's doing. Mm-hmm. And what's that going to do for a young black male, since I want to talk about, I can't have my young black male son in jail. But look what situation I created. Created a situation where their back's against the wall and they're boxed in.
Mm-hmm.
Everything bad is easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the access is all around, you know what I mean? So that's my biggest regret. My biggest regret.
So how long you been home?
I've been home. Well, it's 2020. I've been home since 2014. Yeah.
So you got 6 years home.
Yeah, I got 6 years home.
So when is your anniversary?
My anniversary being home will be like Thanksgiving. The day before Thanksgiving, yeah. Well, I mean, I came home in October, but I was still in the halfway house.
Right.
I was released from the halfway house.
When you got released from the halfway house, what's your
October 6th. Yeah.
So that's your
that's my home day. Yeah. Yes. My anniversary. Yeah.
That's considered the anniversary.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So since you've been home, so what have you been doing since you got home? How was the transition from coming to prison back into society?
Not easy. It wasn't easy.
Because people can learn from this.
People better learn, because I'm gonna tell you something. Don't be out here thinking that people. You hear somebody talking about they come home from jail, you see them in a nice Range Rover, or you see them in this Rolls Royce or whatever they got. They don't have just a bus pass. I'm gonna tell you something. Either they had some money already, or that's not real, or they got that foundation of people that really look out for them, because that's not what it is. You know what I mean? When you come home and you got to owe restitution, you are a felon, you got to get a job, you're in a halfway house, you got to have somewhere to live, you got to eat, but you're limited to what you can do, because you can't do quick, fast money. Right. You know what I mean? So if you didn't have these things before you left and they were getting taken care of, you're coming home to nothing. So I came home to nothing.
Okay.
I came home to nothing. I came home to my mother's couch. That's what I came home to. From the halfway house to my mother's couch. Mm-hmm. And I had to figure it out. I had to think about what jobs I could get. Now I'm all depressed about it, because I'm not gonna. I already know I'm not gonna be able to get another one of my good, smart, fancy little jobs. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna have to do some things I don't want to do. I don't want to these kind of jobs that I'm not trying to do. You
Right.
know. But you got to do what you got to do to take care of yourself. You got
Mm-hmm.
to do what you got to do to get back on your feet. So I was fortunate enough when I came home to get a job at the hospital, but I only was there for a couple of months because they wanted to hire me permanently. But then my probation officer was making me feel like I couldn't have the job. He's like, well, you
Wow.
go in there, you got to tell them, like, why am I going to tell these people this now? I'm not going to have the job. I already, as a temp, got the clearance to
Yeah,
work here. So,
yeah.
you know, so he made me so scared. He made me
Mm-hmm.
so scared. I was like, oh, man, forget it. I went to tell the lady on the day they was going to hire me. It was going to be like $23 an hour. I was thinking this will be good. And I worked hard for that.
Right.
I went and told that lady that. She was like, what? But you already have clearance. And now I didn't already told you my business.
Yeah.
The next day, I didn't have no job. You know what I mean?
That's
I didn't have a job the next day. So, you know, again, I'm just figuring out applying for everything that I could, trying to learn as much as I could. You know, got to get my credit situated. You know, I had a house before. Now my house went into foreclosure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot. Financial stress can put you back into a bad place. You know?
You can. Yes, you can.
It can. It makes you want to strap on a bird in your backpack and go travel on the bus.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you can't do this.
Right.
You can't do that. You got to check in with probation. You got to pay restitution, and you got to eat.
Mm.
You know, that's a lot for the next day. So, you know, again, I'm just figuring out applying for everything that I could, trying to learn as much as I could. You know, got to get my credit situated. You know, I had a house before. Now my house went into foreclosure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot. Financial stress can put you back into a bad place. You know?
You can. Yes, you can.
It can. It makes you want to strap on a bird in your backpack and go travel on the bus.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you can't do this.
Right.
You can't do that. You got to check in with probation. You got to pay restitution, and you got to eat.
Mm.
You know, that's a lot for someone who has pride, for someone who
How much was your restitution?
My restitution is like $86,000.
Yeah, it's normally high. Yeah.
It's 86, but and with interest, and then you know they add interest. You know, so there goes any tax return every year.
Right.
You know what I mean? Plus, now they want to see your pay stubs every week, every month.
Mm-hmm.
This is how much you can afford to pay us every month.
Yeah.
You know, this is how much you can afford to live off of.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have all these things calculated already. So, you know, you got to play by the rules, especially while you're on probation.
Right.
You know, so I played by the rules and I did what I was supposed to do. I found another job. I started working that job, and I made that work for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I made it work. You know, eventually got an apartment with the help of my sons. You know, got an apartment, and then you know, again, learning other skills, learning other things, trying to do other things, and add on to my knowledge, but in a different. Yeah, I have to change what I know and learn something new.
Right.
And make a way.
So, advocate speaker. Let's talk about that.
Well, you know, what I did was I started a nonprofit organization. The nonprofit organization is to help to obtain resources for people reentering back into the real world from prison.
Mm-hmm.
And what, you know, and I created this nonprofit organization, but we haven't gone in to do any actual works that I could tell you about that's up. It's getting up and running still. But what I've been doing right now is connecting with other organizations, reaching out to city councilors so that I can build up this nonprofit organization. Mm-hmm. And I want it to be a staple in the community. I want it to be a place where people know they could come to get help. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not just you come home, you know, you got your little card, you go straight to the welfare office, you get your food stamps, you know, you do all that. But that wasn't the issue when I got off of that bus from Kentucky. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The issue was, how am I going to survive? How am I going to live? What kind of money can I make so that I can make enough money to have a place of my own, that I can, you know, take care of myself, right, without thinking about making a decision that can lay me back in prison.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do to not violate my probation to keep me out of prison? So these are the things that people are looking for. And those resources are, if you don't have a roof over your head, you feel lost.
Correct.
That's one of the main important things, having a roof over your head. And, and I think a lot of men face it more than women do, where like you come home, you're on somebody's couch, or you're with somebody that you don't even want to stay there, but you got to stay there just because. Now, that's not going to last a long time.
Right.
It ain't going to work. Eventually, it's going to be, get out my house. You can't stay here. And now you're back in the mix of things again. You can easily fall back into the road of on your way back to prison. So we need real resources to help people maintain a lifestyle that they can remain out of prison. And that's what we really have to do. So the nonprofit organization is called Sisters United for Change. And this will, again, I'm building this up to be one of the staples in the community that will be able to help those reentering from prison into back into home.
Can you say the name of the organization again so people can,
Yes. Yes, it's called Sisters United for Change. And all of this information will be up on social media and all that stuff. I just like things to get right before they get out there. But,
right.
But I'm working on that. So that's one of those things.
So let's talk about some of your activist work. What's up with that?
Same deal. What I've been doing a lot of volunteering. Again, it's all a part of the nonprofit organization work. Right now, what's going on. We have a pandemic going on, and we have people in prison, and they're the people that's really boxed in, because you have COs that come in and out every day.
Right.
You have nurses that come in and out of the prison every day, bringing. There's my sister right there putting it in there. Sisters United for Change. Thank you, Shereen.
Thank you. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's right.
With the pandemic going on again, we see it in all these states that have our prisoners locked up. We've seen it down in Mississippi. We see it over there in Rikers. We see it in every state: New York, Boston, Chicago, Detroit, everywhere. Bodies are piling up.
Yes,
they're piling up. When you're in prison, you are a prisoner. That means you're a free worker.
Yes.
Like when you look at the law of what it means to be a prisoner, you don't have any options.
No.
Like you can't it's just a number. You can't say, look, the world is going to wherever it's going. There's a disease that's airborne and I got to get out of here. You can't leave.
Right.
You can't leave. You're locked in. And if the workers decide that they don't want to come to work, you'll be in there by yourself.
Yeah, you locked in.
Yeah, food's not coming in.
Yeah.
Your cosmetics aren't coming in.
Yeah.
Your mail's not coming in.
Yeah.
What do you think what's gonna happen in the jungle?
You're in trouble.
No resources.
You're in trouble. Yeah.
You're in trouble.
Yeah.
You're in trouble. So right now I'm working with a couple of different organizations trying to help advocating to release prisoners during this pandemic as well. And it's tough. It's tough because one of the things that I don't like is I don't like that that you hear people say, well, they're in prison for a reason. They deserve to be there. They got to stay there. We sometimes, what society does is it forgets that this is a human being. This is a person. So meaning that person was born from a mother and a father, probably have children themselves. They are a child of somebody's, and everybody makes mistakes. A lot of people make mistakes and they haven't got caught for them. So it doesn't mean it doesn't mean that a person that's not in prison or never been to prison hasn't done anything wrong.
Exactly.
And I'm a true believer that you can't make that decision. I don't believe in the death penalty. I don't care what nobody does. I'm a person, and people get mad at me all the time. I believe that whatever you do, God is always watching. You're gonna pay for it either way. I don't have to be a person to tell you. I don't gotta get you back. Right. You can do whatever you want to me. I don't gotta get you back.
You gotta answer to my man.
You gotta answer to him.
Yeah, you
gotta answer to him.
Yeah,
you do. You do. If you're in prison right now, anyone in prison right now, I feel, my heart goes out to them because I know the feeling. It's more than just suiting up for chow and locking in. Like they're locked in.
Yes.
They're locked in. And the COs and the wardens and all that, they're afraid to even deal with the inmates right now. People are rioting in prisons. And look, let's be honest. You dealt with the law to get locked up to get sentenced, but when you go to jail, they got their own laws in there.
Yes, they do.
And they don't have to. They don't go by what's on the outside.
Nah, they don't.
They don't go by what's on the outside. So when you're locked in, there's a pandemic going on. If phone calls are not getting, you're not able to use the phones. Your family don't know if you're all right or not. Thank goodness that some people in the jails have phones, or else we wouldn't even know what's going on.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't know what's going on. Everybody's somebody's family, and it's not right. So I really hope that we start releasing more prisoners, and that there's not so much of a stigma to it. They need to be released, or there needs to be another option so that they're safe.
So you said you work with an organization.
Couple of them.
Well, I need to talk to you after the show. I'm gonna call you, so keep your phone on. But
I will keep it on.
Because I know some people that I need some assistance, need some help on the real side.
Yeah.
And that's big right now. That's a lot of people. You got like Kim Kardashian. You got Jay-Z and some other guy, I forgot his name, the one that helped get Meek Mills out.
Oh, yeah. Are you talking about, are you talking about that other guy? I can't think of his name right now, too, but was he one of the sports guys, sports owners?
I think so, but I heard he's an attorney, but he does a lot of other things also.
Okay.
But anyway, him and Jay-Z just got somebody out who was an old school guy. Huh?
Oh, I'm up here reading it.
Yeah, he was an old school guy, and they just got him out because of the COVID situation is what I'm talking about.
Right.
So, yeah, I might need, but a lot of people starting to get in on that because there's just a lot of people in there who deserve to come home. They did their time, and it's like ridiculous.
You know what the sad thing about it is? Say, for instance, this is part of a pandemic as well, but before the pandemic happened, you have great-grandmothers in prison that have severe medical conditions, and they got more years on their time to go. You know good and well these people are not going to make it out of here. They have conditions that they would rather keep someone in prison that's sick on a deathbed than to let them be released.
Right.
It doesn't matter. That goes back to what I'm saying about you're not in control of what happens to a person's life. You're not in control of who lives or dies.
Right.
That's not your job. That's not your job.
Right.
Your job is to have some empathy. Your job is to understand what love is about. And no matter what a person does, they'll answer to it. But it's not you that makes that decision on who they're going to answer to and when.
Right.
It's not you. So I feel there was several women where I was at in Lexington, Kentucky, but there was one in particular. She was very sick. She came into the prison. She wasn't so sick. But after she got there, I remember one day her whole body just being swole up. Her skin had turned dark, an older Black woman. And it was like, she said she started feeling like that at a different prison. Didn't know what was wrong with it. I mean, they're not taking you to the doctors in and out like when you're sick. It's at the late point. Right.
Yes.
She got denied to be released so many times for her medical condition. And they know that this was a bad situation, right?
Right.
How about she got approved to move to a medical facility prison, right? On her way there, she died.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? And it's like, we know what's going on now. Your health is not a concern when you're a prisoner.
Right. No.
There's a pandemic going on.
Yes.
All they will do is lock the doors. Nobody will come to work.
Yeah.
And you will perish there.
Yeah. I spoke to somebody, I think yesterday, and we were talking real quick, and they told me that their family member was in jail, and he told them that their whole unit had coronavirus. Right.
I've been seeing a lot of that. A lot of that's happening. A whole unit, a whole prison is going to have it. I think that I just read that there's about 76% of people that are in the prison. It was one particular prison that had of inmates that have coronavirus. And if you don't think that they should be moved to be treated, you think that they're like saying, well, they are quarantining. No, they're not quarantining. They're in a cell with another person that has it. They're passing it back and forth. The CEO had it, brought it in, and now the CEO is still giving it to how many other people have been affected.
And they're not getting the medical attention that
they're not getting medical
to have.
Look, we're barely getting it out here.
Right.
We're barely getting it out here.
When you get incarcerated,
it's over.
They consider you the scum of the earth.
You are the scum of the earth.
And you're a number.
Yep.
You're just a number. So the people that's in the community are going to get that quick as possible. The people in jail, they already wrote you off.
They did. They don't even consider you.
Yeah, you killed somebody, you robbed the bank, or you did that. You ain't got nothing for you. Lay down somewhere. If it happens somewhere.
Lay down somewhere.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And you know what? And not to say, that any crime is worse or, less than the other. But, for violent crime offenders or people just sitting waiting for bail to be out of there, you don't need to be sitting in there catching no life-threatening disease that wasn't. You're in there. You weren't the cause of this pandemic. Everybody is suffering from something that we didn't cause. And this little, these little checks and extra money that they throw at us, it's not going to take away that the whole world is shut down right now.
I mean, to be honest with you, I just got mine today, right?
What you do?
Listen, Ayanna, I just got mine today, for real.
Let me hold some, man.
Come on, man. What you talking about? Nah, I just got $1,200. I just got it today. I'm letting the world know I just got mine,
All right.
Mine came in the mailbox. I went and said, oh, shit, the fuck is this? I got it, right?
Uh-huh.
But I don't feel no different.
I know. It's like
$1,200.
Nothing.
Come on, man. That's just already spent. You kidding me?
It's already calculated. I didn't get one.
Yeah, I ain't
I'm already counting out.
It ain't that serious to me. I'm just cool that I got it because everybody else is getting it. I paid my taxes and stuff.
Right.
That thing ain't moving me like that, man.
It's not moving. It's what it does. It keeps certain people quiet. But when you really know what's going on, that's not enough to keep you quiet.
Then I heard we got to pay it back.
Right. You still got to claim it on your taxes when you do your taxes.
Yeah, we got to pay it back next year. Some shit, whatever. I don't know.
You still got to claim, and you got to claim all the income you receive.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Somebody put on here about Bill Cosby,
Yeah.
And I was thinking about Bill Cosby when you said what you said.
Right.
I don't know why it came to my mind real quick, but
that's also a big issue. They've been talking about him.
In prison. That man, you want him to die in jail? Come on, man. I'm a woman first always. Yeah. And I will say this. I really feel that all these years later, right now, that it didn't really make sense. This is my own personal opinion now. I don't feel that it made sense for him to go to prison now for that. I don't think going to prison, but I do feel that him being responsible for what he did, there need to be consequences for that. But at his age and all of that, I don't feel that prison was the answer. How old is Bill Cosby? 70, 80?
Isn't he like, yeah. Like,
so,
I want you to feel the pain now. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You're 80-something years old. He's not even going to get what he's doing right now.
Bill Cosby, they say he was worth $1 billion, right? So I figured they just take a whole lot of money from him.
Yeah.
Put him into because if he did that, because I don't know,
Right.
If he did do that, somebody say
he's 83.
83. So if he's 83, put him inside an old folks' home, like somewhere where he can get his mind right. He needs some type of therapy if he did do that, and make him stay in there. And he can't come out of society. But prison, you're gonna kill him, man.
Prison.
Come on.
I just don't think prison for any elderly person makes sense. When I was thinking of how Whitey Bulger went to prison, it's like this man had lived his whole life, done all he did, hid out. He goes up and he goes up. I forget the name of the prison. And I should know it because Jimmy Hinchman is in that same prison.
Oh wow! I didn't know
and
that.
He just wrote me. But he's in the same prison. And he got in there. How long was he there? For like a week? Not even a week. I think when Whitey Bulger, as soon as he got in there, he was out of there. They killed him in there. It's the jungle.
They killed him?
Yeah, Whitey Bulger died in that prison. They killed him.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Like, who beats up an old man?
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's
You know what I
crazy.
mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it just some things are so senseless, you know. And I feel, you know, I feel bad, and I'm praying for everybody in that situation, because you really can't, you can't win. It's tough. Every state is different. I'm in New York, you know, I appreciate and I respect the way, you know, you all ride out. Y'all really do put the pressure on your representatives out there. You put the pressure on them because everybody comes together. They go out there. You know, I see Jamila T. Davis doing it all the time. Miss Mallory, she does as well. My son, I see him. You know, they're really in the community, digging down in there, and they really put the pressure on those people. Mm-hmm. Not every state is like that. You can't get a lot of states to come together to do things like that. And I don't know if it becomes because it's fear, or, you know, you just know better not to do that in this town. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Looking at how those people went up to the state capitol the other day with masks and rifles on, like, what? That would never happen in Massachusetts. That would never happen in Massachusetts. They're crazy. I couldn't even believe it. Like, they walked down the street with rifles out, masks on, and they were at the Capitol. And you're going to tell me, okay, so there was no arrest and no shooting from officers of these people because y'all knew they all had license to carry or something? Like, I didn't get that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What's up, Last Days?
You got it.
My guy there.
Yeah, you got a lot of people that's tuning in, that's feeling you, you know?
I know, I love those guys. I love my town.
Yeah, you got a lot of support out there. I see that. It's been flowing since you've been on, like you said.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
You know, by Ayanna, you know, you got a good spirit.
Hey, Dave.
You're always smiling, you know.
Because I'm crazy.
Hey, ever since I've known you, you're always smiling, you're happy. I just can't hear it, man. I don't know,
hey,
man, you know.
You know, I got borderline borderline multiple personality disorder. They said I'm lit, but he knows I'm crazy too.
Yo, man.
No, I mean, I'm gonna tell you honestly. You know, I have my downtime, but for real, I don't see there's a reason. There's not a reason to not smile. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes even when I'm in one of my bad moments, I just smile anyway, because it reminds me that, like, I'm so lucky.
Yes, you are.
I love you too, Kenya. I am so lucky to be free. Mm-hmm. You know, again, we're talking about people being in prison during this pandemic. I would have lost my mind if I was locked up right now. I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it. You know, and we have to think about that, because what's going on right now, a lot of people that are on the street are losing their mind.
Yes. And
people in prison.
Yes.
You know, this is the time where you're going to see a lot of suicides happening. The only thing open is Walmart and the liquor store, so a lot of alcoholics are, you know, shout out to my family in the kitchen right now getting lit on the margarita. But, you know, you have, you know, the street, look what's happening in the streets. Now, I'm not saying that I know this personally, but, you know, there's a drought everywhere. You know what I mean? Wow. There's a drought on jobs. There's a drought in the streets. You know there's a drought. So, you know what I mean? Everybody, there's not one person that's not suffering from this. Mm-hmm. If you're in the corporate world, if you're out in the street, no matter where you're at, we're all suffering right now.
Yeah, yeah. And
we really are suffering.
And I want to say one thing, you know, she talking about it's a drought out there, right? I mean,
it is. It is. Everybody knows it's a drought out here.
When it get late, always remember, Jay-Z said, pickup kids is out the tax.
Look, you know what you
everybody got a mask on right now, so the crime rate went up. The crime rate went up.
Listen.
So I just want y'all to be careful out there, for real.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
And you know how you just said it. You just said you got your check today. You know yesterday was the first.
I got it
everybody
today.
Know these checks.
I was like, hold up, in the mailbox. What? Yo, shout out to my man Cash, right? I just see my man Cash tune in. Young Cash, what up, bro?
Hey, Young
Cash. Shout out to my man. He did my taxes and all that. So I got my little chump change. But my little 7-year-old son, he gonna spend all that. That's over.
Oh my goodness. You want to tell you one thing? Hi, Gina Prince. I did that's Dr. Gina Prince. I did her show a couple of weeks ago. Hello. I just had a grandson.
Oh wow! Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. So nobody can take my smile off. I got a grandson.
Yeah.
I did honestly want a granddaughter,
what's your name?
My grandson's name, we nicknamed him MJ because he's a junior.
Okay.
Yeah. So MJ is another reason for me to smile every day. So I just had to give a big shout out to my MJ.
God is good. Look at you.
Yes.
You
yes,
know, you grew up, you
yeah.
know, in Boston area, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you went to prison.
Yeah.
You know, you
two
came
times.
home 2 times. You've been in prison 2 times.
With no visits, neither time.
You're smiling. You look good. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
You was on American Gangster, Trap Queens, BET.
Can you believe that? I'm still in shock.
So now you world famous. You know?
Wow. Like, I mean, you know what? Can you tell my family that again? They can't be walking around here talking to me like I'm this little lady or nothing. Tell them again, please.
Trap Queens, American Gangster. You know what I'm saying? They should be getting your autographs and stuff like that.
Right, tell them. You see all my family out there. Y'all need to be lining up for my autograph.
And you thorough. You know
and I'm thorough.
And you ain't tell on nobody.
I only told on me.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what it is.
But
that's what it is.
I thank you for coming to the show.
I thank you for having me. I really, truly appreciate you having me and staying in touch with me and reaching out and having me the first time, on the show 139 The Beat. Shout out to all of you.
Yes.
I'm just praying for, especially New York, but the whole world, we're all in the same place together.
Yes.
I'm so fortunate with this journey that I've met some great women that have turned into some good friends of mine and, teaching me. I want to give a big shout out to Big 50 right there in Detroit. She's also on American Gangster in season 1.
Big 50, I'm going to call you as soon as I get off the show. Big 50, you coming up this week. I got you. Trust me. Yes.
She has been, a lot of teachers have come into my life, and she's one of those teachers. Big shout out to Jamila T. Davis. She used her resources and invited me to come on to the Breakfast Club. So I appreciate that. If I never got to tell her that in person, she's such a good resource for me. Aisha Hall.
Yes.
They're awesome. Also Sunny Money Queens. She invited me out there. I really appreciate all of them.
Shawana King.
Yes, Shawana, I appreciate them, those ladies so much, and they're all doing their thing. I want to give a big shout out to Jamaica Thomas as well. Jamaica is Miss Queen Pin. You will see her. She has a lot of stories going on. So it's Jamaica Harrison right now. You want me to call her for you?
Yeah, I need that. You know how we Come on,
I thought she would have logged in and said hello, but she's on Cali time. But she has been.
I want to talk to her.
You just don't know how she has been like just the queen mother for me, like pushing me to, opening my eyes up to a lot of the way this particular game works because I don't know it at all.
Right.
And I really appreciate her so much, as Queen Pen and just everybody that I've come across and I can't wait to do more. And again, my homegirl there, Miss T, Queen T, I just love her to death. New York has been so good to me, and everywhere that I've been.
Girl. Love you,
I can't wait. Me and her about to hit the road a little bit this summer. Yeah.
Yes, that's my girl. That's my sister.
Yeah.
We talk here and there. She's good money. But
she's
listen,
good money.
I thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna call you in a little while, so keep your phone on.
Well, I'm gonna keep my phone on, but I done told you they up in this kitchen with these margaritas.
I'm saying it's all right.
No, but we need to definitely talk about this some more. I mean, I love to, we can put some stuff together that we can do together and make this a Boston, New York Cousins Connect.
We gonna do that. I promise you that. I'm gonna call you in a little while.
Okay.
Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
And it was a great vibing session.
See, I did better than the first time, right?
It's one-on-one. So one-on-one to me is we vibing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes,
right.
I appreciate it.
And I'm going to hit you a little while. And Big 50, I got you. I'm going to hit you. Your number's on my speed dial. I got you.
That's right. You know she's sending people to get you. You don't call her right away.
Yeah, I see her right there. She got it on. She went on it like 20 times. So, Ayanna, you got a lot of love in from me.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Same to you. Thank you so much.
Yes, and I'm going to be in touch shortly, okay?
Okay.
Enjoy your day. And
you too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Don Vito. Thank you so much. And congratulations on the new show.
Absolutely. It's God's plan. It's God's plan, baby. That's how I can't lose.
That's right. Can't be boxed in. We out here.
Absolutely. I'll call you later.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.